Greet you all students of third year. This is paper first, unit B. It is just in the continuation of the discussion on Samuel Taylor Coleridge. We have been discussing romanticists, great romantic poets, and Samuel Taylor Coleridge. He has become popular for his humanitarian approach that we discussed earlier also. So, the focus of this great romantic moment was the note of humanity. And see the poems prescribed in your syllabus, Kubla Khan and Frost at Midnight. Of course, these poems become very, very famous because of his element, supernatural element. I mean, this is quite common about him. I mean, everybody knows this point. The students of literature, those who are from the domain of literature, that S.T. Coleridge, he has become popular for his supernatural expression and reflection of supernatural element. But other than this, that students, you must comprehend at this level. Of course, yes, he is regarded as the poet of man and humanity. And when we, discuss the emphasis on this humanistic approach, focus on common man. See, his trilogy, you must know. From the point of view of examination, also in a section, be it section A or B. I mean, when you write your answer, critical appreciation, or say Coleridge as a poet, or Coleridge as a romanticist, as a romantic poet, you must mention this trilogy. Now, trilogy triplet, I mean, three poems, and he has become popular for his particular these three poetic collection. First is The Ancient Mariner, just have a look. Second, Kubla Khan, the poem which is prescribed in your syllabus, and Christabel. Okay, so the poem prescribed in your syllabus, as I mentioned earlier, you must be knowing Kubla Khan and Frost at Midnight. Another, aspect of Coleridge, as we discussed earlier, he has become popular for the element of supernatural. I mean, reflection of that. But students, here I would like to focus the point that when we discuss this trilogy, Ancient Mariner, Kubla Khan, and Christabel, I mean, another point is that focus on his his passion for common man, his humanity, feeling of brotherhood as an Ancient Mariner. I mean, this is, just killing a bird is a sin. Nature does not allow us to cause harm to anyone, anybody, even an animal in this world. Even a bird is also very important. This is, extreme extent of sensitivity, feeling of brotherhood, feeling of empathy for all. And students of third year, young aspirants, being students of literature, see, this is the purpose of studying literature. You are not just studying for the sake of studying only. You should know these human values. And when you study Coleridge's poetry, yes, you would enjoy, because it is very close to humanitarian approach. I mean, it is an integral part of that. So, okay, fine. He has become popular as a poet of supernatural. I mean, this is willing suspension of disbelief is it's a famous dialogue, famous dictum, maxim, and complimentary, complimentary particular caption for Coleridge means it is his remarkable artistic feature or potential, poetic talent, that he writes in a way he deals this supernatural element just as if we believe, oh, it is real. It is really very close to reality. So expression of reality is one of the most important characteristic features. Now, when we have been discussing important characteristic features of this particular romantic age, students, mind you, you should note that you should have idea that focus is on humanity, love, and compassion. As we have in these poems, Kubla Khan, Frost at Midnight, and other poems, as I mentioned, Ancient Mariner, and other poems. Now, another point in romanticism in this particular age, I mean, just in brief, I mean, it is a must to know when you are going to study this famous poet, and you must have idea about all these, I mean, the reflection, because there is reflection of that age on the literary pieces as well. So spontaneity is another point. Okay, spontaneity now, in which, as we are reminded of William Wordsworth's famous definition of poetry, because poetry is spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings recollected in tranquility. And it is reminiscent of William Wordsworth's poem Tintern Abbey. Do you remember when you studied it at second year level? So his, development of his attitude toward nature. So this is, I mean, these two close friends, and some common characteristic features, some common qualities. So at this level, final, you are final students of final year, you must have idea of it. So spontaneity is another important point. Immediate reaction. I mean, see, if you perceive a flower, or you perceive a poor man, or some beggar, or some sufferer, see, you must have sensitivity, you must have empathy for that. And see, a poet, he or she possesses a remarkable imaginative vision and remarkable extraordinary sensitivity and sensibility. Okay, so this much of, and spontaneity means immediate reaction you must have. So that is, I think, one of the most important aspects in writing a poem. So poetry is not that it is just it is just imagination and nothing else. No, students of literature, you must have idea about it. It is an expression of reality. So paradox, imagination is real, I mean, which happens in the society, but with imaginative vision, in which the poet, with his or her extraordinary sensibility and sensitivity and remarkable imaginative vision and direction, he or she composes the poem for the betterment of society. So this is one of the important purposes of writing poetry. And when we study, a famous poet like Coleridge, so you must know this reflection of his age, romanticism, and one of the important characteristics that is spontaneity and powerful feelings, as William Wordsworth has pointed out in lyrical preface to lyrical ballads. And these two poets, I mean, this joint collaboration. Okay, so then the point that as we discussed earlier in the beginning, that there, this romantic moment, romanticism, it was a reaction against 18th century period kind of literature. So that was the age of reason. Reason means too much emphasis on intelligence and logical thinking, and which is devoid of and absolutely without emotions. Then no, this is not exactly poetry. You must have balanced approach. So emphasis on emotions. You just have looked these important points, students, that emphasis on emotions. So this is one of the important characteristic features. Fine. So emotions love and fellow feelings, as we have, as you, I mean, you studied Tinton Abbey, so you must have a better idea about it, and you are going to study Kubla Khan and Frost at Midnight. So this emphasis on emotions, love, fellow feelings, and this actually happens in day-to-day life also. So you would get success if you know the importance of emotions and human relations. Okay, feeling of brotherhood. So this is again age of reason. So 18th century period in which emphasis was only on logical thinking and intelligence and all that. I mean, that is also, I mean, important, but all the time emphasis on that, and which is absolutely bereft of and devoid of and without any kind of emotions. So what is the use of that life? Okay, and then as I, I have discussed this point, that importance of imaginative vision. Okay, and imaginative vision, students, mind you, now your concept must be clear about that. This imaginative vision which reflects reality of human life, what is going on around the society, okay, in day-to-day life. So this is sensibility and sensitivity. Yes, and then another important point is focus on morality. I mean, without morality there is no meaning of your life. And this is, as in even in Kubla Khan, when you would study very nice poem, and even Frost at Midnight and other poems. And in these particularly, in these romanticists, romantic poets, these are, important merits of this particular age. Ideal virtues of human life. As yes, here we are reminded of Ancient Mariner also. I mean, Coleridge's famous ballad Ancient Mariner, in which the importance of morality. I mean, if you kill any insect, any bird, God forbid it, you should know, you should not. But here point is that, as a contextualization of this point, this is what I in fact me here. I mean, according to Coleridge, in which Ancient Mariner, he killed a bird, albatross, and then he had to suffer God's wrath. This is exactly so. Try to comprehend the meaning of supernatural on the one hand, which is not confined to only apparition, witches and fairies and demons. Supernatural means spirituality, yes. So God's interference in human affair. If a person commits some crime or sin, this is very important point. Okay, so in Ancient Mariner, and then when he felt guilty of that, I mean, guilt conscious, repentance, then only salvation is possible. Okay, salvation, this and the that, oh, you should not commit that sin, and you should love all the creatures. So his famous, I mean, Coleridge's famous quotation, you should know that he prayeth well who liveth well, for dear God who liveth us. Yes, so you must love each and every creature in this world. This is the moral. I mean, when we discuss the point of morality, this is, yes, moral values in human life. So even it is reminiscent of William Wordsworth's famous poem "The World Is Too Much with Us." So students of final year, this Ancient Mariner, you should at least know some and substance of these poems. Now in William Wordsworth's poem "The World Is Too Much with Us," which is very relevant poem even today, that people, they have become so materialistic and they don't have time to say spend some time, quality time with nature. With nature is goddess, guide and guardian. She has been giving you food and everything, clothes, your house, all everything you have. because of nature, and you don't have time. So is too much, world is too much with us, miss? World has become too much materialistic. Now what is the meaning of materialistic? Yes, means you are crazy after this materialistic pursuit, after all these things, and this, the world and the luxury and all that, all these articles. Okay, to some extent, fine, that you must have. But if you have become crazy after it, by hook and crook, you must have it. And then people, they start fighting with each other. And then, see, this is the reason of violence. So this is the root of all that violence, when people, they become too much materialistic. And this is the theme. I mean, these are, very, very nice themes of these romanticists. So my point is that if you want to comprehend the very spirit of romanticism, and this is the crux of that. Okay, no doubt important points that we have: love for nature, love for common people, and then we have morality, and see, and at the same time language is also very important. When we discuss poetry, the spirit of poetry, yes, combination of both content as well as, yes, language, the choice of words and the style of writing. So according to these famous romanticists, romantic poets, language must be simple. And what is the reason of that? That even the common man, layman, can very well comprehend it. So the purpose is not just to make show of that and pomp and show of that, and just of your knowledge, that you are using high flown language with bombastic language, and see the artificial phraseology all the time with heroic couplets. So the idea then, how a common man would understand it. So very purpose would not be solved in that way. Therefore, simplicity of expression is one of the most important characteristic features of romantic age. So this is against the artificiality of language. I mean, choice of words and language. This is also, I mean, it is called conversational kind of language, colloquial language, language that has been used in day-to-day life, as if the poet, he or she is talking to you. So this is what exactly, St. Coleridge, he has emphasized the use of language which must be comprehended by the common people. So this is the crux of romantic age, romanticism, that it must have, see, these are just the important, you just have look of that. The subjectivity is also one of the important characteristic feature. Now subjectivity, in which I mean, the poet's personal ideas and feelings are expressed. Okay, so autobiographical element there must be. So, and the reason behind it, that sharing your views, your ideas with the expression, in which the expression of the poet's innermost feelings, the feelings which unfold the element of this universe. So see the integrity among man, nature and God. So when you study his autobiographical poem, Frost at Midnight, very nice poem. See, and in which we have combination of both nature and supernature. Okay, so and even in Kubla Khan also, the poet, he in a way narrates. I mean, in very the style is also very impressive. The atmosphere is romantic setting, countryside setting, with beautiful expression of nature, depiction of nature, pictures, vivid images we have. And at the same time, at the deeper level, students, mind you, he tends to convey some important message to the whole mankind. So generations after generations would love to study these famous romantic poets. St. Coleridge. Okay, so we will continue. Thank you.